morning, everyone.
Good morning. We have a visitor today.
Yeah, look at that cruise ship, eh?
Yeah.
We were just thinking, we were walking past it and we're like, this cruise ship is both bigger than the city, more expensive than the whole city, and probably makes more money than the city as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Cruise ships are enormous. They're cities on water.
Exactly.
If we're wondering what Atlantis is, I think they're talking about the Titanic.
It's pretty cool to see close up too. Like, it's just so huge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Today we went on a walking tour of Stari Grad, or the old town of Kotor, and we figured we'll share a little bit about what we learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a big history lesson of the place. So we thought we'd start at the front gate and work our way through the city to share what we learned. All right, so I am standing in front of what is called the Sea Gate. It's called the Sea Gate because back in the day, this used to be right on the water. There's now like a street that's kind of been paved over now, but originally this side of the city used to border the bay itself, like the water. And the reason why it was called the Sea Gate as well is because you would actually enter this gate with a rowboat. Water would come in like a little canal, and then you dock your boat inside and then do your stuff from there. But now times have changed, and they retrofitted it to be more of like a pedestrian walking gate. So this gate is pretty cool. You can see it has 3 flags sitting above it here. The first one is the flag of Montenegro on the left. The middle one is the flag of the city of Kotor. And then the one on the right is the UNESCO flag, because the entire city of Kotor is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is a really good thing because our tour guide was telling us that there is also a very old historical city that is hundreds of years older than this one within Montenegro, but it is not a World Heritage Site, and it has been ruined by advertisements and big glass office buildings, and yeah, that town is called Budva, and I don't think we'll be interested in going there because it's just been propagandized like crazy. I don't think it's worth seeing anymore. But this one, on the other hand, has been preserved, and so both on the outside and in, it is authentic and original and special. It's not, ruined by everything. So as soon as you pass through the Sea Gate, you enter the main square, also known as the Weapons Square. Here, you can see the red brick down there. That is where the canal used to be, where you would park your rowboats and then do business here. But yeah, this is the largest square in the city. There's many squares, but yeah, this is the main one. Also, this city is very interesting because it kind of grew from a very small concentration of buildings and then expanded outward from itself. The streets largely have no names, and they're all very narrow and zigzaggy because there's a very tight the space is very tight in here because you've got to build everything within the walls, and if you want to maximize the space and not get attacked from the outside, you got to do it all in here. And so going through here, it's a bit of a maze, it's a labyrinth. You're zigzagging through everything, which is pretty cool.
So the buildings here are really beautiful, and they're also very varied in style because the oldest buildings were built around the 9th century and the newest are built around the 19th century. There's also a ton of Italian influence because Kotor, or Cataro, was part of the Venetian kingdom for about 300 years, I believe. So pretty much all of the food here in Kotor is pretty much the same as Italian food, and a lot of the architecture is very heavily inspired by it.
Also, their language is very Italian-like. Like whenever you listen to it, it's got the ups and downs, and they use a lot of Italian words as well. So it's interesting here that their language is just kind of a mix of the Balkan language that we've experienced the past couple months and Italian as well. It's interesting to hear that. Okay, so I kind of got suckered into buying this shirt. So Rylan and I, the past couple days, we've been talking about buying a shirt like this. Just because like the summer's coming and I don't have any light colored shirts and I run hot to begin with, and so I knew I needed something to help me stay cool on the hot summer days, and so we're thinking, oh, like Egyptian cotton, that sounds like a really good type of shirt to get whenever we're going into the hot season. And so we walk by a shop and it's nothing but shirts just like this, like white shirts with like the fancy material and everything. And so we made the possible mistake of walking in, got lured in by his good salesmanship, and we ended up walking out with the shirt, and we probably paid a fair bit more than we should have for this. I'm not going to disclose how much because I'm embarrassed, but nothing too crazy, but it feels great, and and I'm sure it'll keep me cool, so whatever, but that's why I change shirts. Anyways, let's talk about the place we're at right now. So, Montenegro used to be part of Yugoslavia under the reign of Tito, as we've mentioned before in previous videos. And he is pretty well regarded. We learned that at the time, 95% of the population was in strong support of Tito whenever he came into power. And Montenegro was included in that high percentage of positive votes. Except that's the funny thing, he wasn't really voted in. He kind of just assumed power and everyone went along with it, which was an interesting thing we just learned today. Another cool thing we learned about Yugoslavia at the time that we didn't know is that everyone working were allowed to have 3 months out of the year allotted to vacation time, which is just crazy. Now, that vacation time only applies if you travel within Yugoslavia itself. You can't go out to another country to claim this time. But that meant that like people from Montenegro, they could go and spend 3 months in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, and all the nice beautiful mountains there if they wanted to, and they get 3 months of it. Also, a lot of the companies that you could work for within Yugoslavia, they had vacation homes that you could visit all around Yugoslavia in all the different regions. You can bring your family to these homes while you're traveling, and so those homes are fully paid for, that you could just go visit during your vacation. And on top of that, they also gave you money for food, which is just mind-boggling. Like compared to in North America, where a lot of people, maybe most people, they get 2 weeks of vacation time a year, and you got to buy your own lodging, and you got to buy your own food. It sounds a little bit utopic, if you ask me.
However, like all things, Tito and Yugoslavia were not all good. Tito was known for doing some pretty messed up things. He had like concentration camps for people who spoke out against him. And also, he was pretty big enemies with the USSR, like Yugoslavia versus USSR. And Stalin tried to assassinate him, I believe, 20 times at least. And each of the 20 times, the Yugoslavian army or whatever would catch the assassinator and kill him. And
the assassinator?
What is that? The army would catch the assassin and kill him. And so on the 20th attempt of assassination, Tito wrote Stalin a letter saying, hey, please stop sending these assassins. If you keep sending them, I'm gonna keep killing them. But if you send one more, I'll send one to the USSR. And unlike you, I won't have to send a second one. So it seems like he was kind of a badass.
Boom.
Pretty cool, funny guy, but obviously he wasn't all good, all bad. A lot of people have different experiences with him and Yugoslavia. But it's just really interesting to learn different countries' points of view.
All right, so at this square we have 2 churches, and these 2 churches are the only 2 Orthodox churches in the entirety of Kotor. And the reason for that is because Kotor throughout history has been primarily Catholic because of the influence from the Venetian Empire. The interesting thing about Kotor is for the majority of history, it's actually been kind of owned or like run by Italian empires. So the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, I believe, and the Venetian Empire.
However, now Montenegro is about 70% Orthodox, I believe, and they celebrate lots of Orthodox holidays like Slava, which is one we learned about today. So Slava, there is a funny tradition with it where once you invite someone to host them for Slava, they're invited forever, like every year. And so since you have different friend groups throughout your life, eventually these parties become so big, and Slava like host parties can be up to like 300, 400 people, and it's kind of normal here. So really interesting.
All right, so here we are at the cat garden, and the reason for the existence of the cat garden is quite interesting. God, he's so cute. So apparently just around the corner here, there was a shoe shop, and the woman who ran the shoe shop loved cats. And so there's a lot of cats in Kotor because sailors got them to take care of all the rats that were infesting the city, right? But the thing is, though, is that a lot of them would get sick, and they're street cats, so bad things can happen. And so this woman who ran the shoe shop made it her duty to take care of them. And so she would feed them, she would care for them and raise them. And it got to the point where 400 cats were now under her care. And it got a little bit ridiculous and a little bit crazy. And so the municipal government started to help out. Oh yeah, go ahead. The municipal government set up that machine right over there. And if you recycle a bottle, then it will let out free cat food. And well, I guess not free, but and then that will be able to feed the cats. On top of that, the locals are feeding the cats all kinds of amazing stuff. They eat better than we do. So they're eating charcuterie, they're eating like fish, they're eating eggs, they're eating bacon. I'm looking down at all these plates around us, and it's just crazy the meals that they're having. They look so happy, and it looks like a great environment for these little guys.
All right, so that's what we've learned about Kotor so far while being here.
Yeah, some pretty cool stuff. I gotta say, obviously, my favorite stuff is everything cat related.
Yeah, we're loving all the cats. The cat park is amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. We have like access to kittens on demand 24/7.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be spending most of my time in that cat garden from now on.
For real, yeah. But yeah, that's it for today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.